Buenas tardes. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Platicando con Promotores. Today we have a session on financing your higher education. We have guest speakers, Robert and Marlenis. Robert from Santa Ana College and Marlenis from Eagle Credit Union. So thank you both for being here so much. And with that being said, Robert, you can take it away. The floor is all yours.
Great, thank you. I'm going to share my screen here. So yes, I'm Robert Manson from Santa Ana College, and I'm the Director of Financial Aid there, and I want to just kind of share with you what kind of financing is available when you go to a community college. Can you see my screen? Just want to make sure.
Yes, we can see it.
Yes. Great, thank you. So I'm going to cover the very basics of what you might expect as far as financial aid. If you would like more information, you're welcome to call us or email us at the Santa Ana College Financial Aid Office, and we'll answer your questions there if you don't get them answered tonight. So I want to just basically go over how you will afford college. So the first step is to apply. And for those of you in high school, your high school counselor should be helping you to do that now before March 2nd, so that you can apply for the Cal Grant as well as the federal financial aid. And I'll go over what that looks like later, but the FAFSA is how you would apply for financial aid. And this is one application to apply for all the different kinds of financial aid that are out there. They've made it as simple as they can. So again, March 2nd is the deadline. So make sure you do it as soon as you can. High school counselors can help you, or if you really get stuck, you can come on into our financial aid office and we can help you as well. Okay. Now, who's eligible to do the FAFSA? Not everyone is eligible to complete the FAFSA. The FAFSA is free and pretty easy, but you have to be a U.S. citizen or eligible non-citizen with a valid Social Security number, not an I-10, but it has to be a Social Security card. You have to have a high school diploma or a GED, and you must be enrolled in an eligible program. And what that means is most majors are eligible for the FAFSA, but there are a few that are not. So any degree, like an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree, those are all eligible. There's some certificates that may not be. If you have questions about that, you can ask. But that's the criteria for the FAFSA. So I just kind of want to get you an idea of how much financial aid is available for you if you do the FAFSA and go to school full time. We understand that going to school full time can be difficult if you need a part-time job in order to make ends meet. But we also know that full-time students are much more likely to complete their degree than part-time students. If you were able to take 15 units a semester, which is a heavy load, it's just pretty similar to your high school load, maybe with a little bit more homework, you should be able to graduate from Santa Ana College or a community college in about 2 years and be ready to transfer to university if you want, or maybe your associate's degree is your end goal to get into the workforce. But assuming you have we call it an EFC of 0, which means assuming if you're low income and qualify for the maximum financial aid and you're a full-time student, this is how much you may expect to get in financial aid. So you get a fee waiver. The fee waiver waives your enrollment fees, which means that your college classes are free. That's great right off the top. But there's still other expenses to going to college, books, and possibly rent or transportation costs or food or things like that, because if you're not able to work a lot of hours or at all, those are still real expenses for you. But a Pell Grant from the federal government is available. It's about $6,900 this year. But probably close to $7,000 next year. That's for the whole year for both fall and spring semester, $7,000. A Cal grant might be available depending on your high school GPA. And that's about $1,600 on top of the Pell Grant. And then there's a small SEOG, which some students get of $400. But if you're in 15 units and you get a Cal Grant, the state of California wants to ensure your success in completing as quickly as possible. And they'll give an additional $8,000. And this is all free money that does not need to be paid back. So that's almost $17,000 for the year to, I mean, your books are probably going to be, $500 to $700. So there's still, $16,000 that you can use to cover all those expenses that you have so you can focus on school. So just wanted to encourage you to get that FAFSA in because it is a big difference. Not everyone is eligible for the FAFSA. There is also a DREAM Act for the Dreamers in California. They also have a March 2nd deadline, so you can get that Cal Grant. And the DREAM Act, it's the caldreamact.org, or you can just Google California DREAM Act and it'll be the first thing that shows up on the Google page. The criteria is a little bit different. It's very similar to the FAFSA, very free. It's very easy and it is free. But to be eligible for the DREAM Act, you must be what we call AB 540 eligible, which means that you attended a high school in California for 3 years or more, and you have a high school diploma or GED from a California high school. You just would need to submit an affidavit with admissions and records at our school. When you apply to come to school here, they'll prompt you to do that, to fill that out. Simple one-page paper, and then you do those things, and you would be eligible to complete the DREAM Act. You don't need to be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident. You just have to have graduated from high school in California. So there's not as much aid available for Dreamers because they're not eligible for the federal aid, but California still makes all of its awards available to you. So you can still get that fee waiver to waive the class fees, so your classes are free. And again, if your GPA in high school qualifies you for the Cal Grant, you can get that $1,600 in Cal Grant. And if you're in that 15 units, again, the California state wants you to be successful. And so they'll give you that extra $8,000 in order to be successful. So you're still, it's like, again, it's $9,000 is a significant help when trying to cover, transportation, food, contributing to whatever other household needs you have. I did mention transportation a couple times. Santa Ana College does have a free bus pass, so that the transportation shouldn't really be an issue if you don't have a car and you need to get to school. There is a free bus pass, but of course, if you do have a car, gas is pretty expensive and that can help. All right. I also want to mention the Santa Ana Promise for those students who are not low income and don't qualify for financial aid. There is a Santa Ana Promise where we will still cover your tuition for you to come to our school. You wouldn't be eligible for all that other financial aid, but at least your classes would be free. To qualify for this, you have to have graduated from high school in California, completed the FAFSA or the DREAM Act, and enroll in at least 12 units. And that is good for the first year of school of tuition. They also, for the Santa Ana Promise, you would get a $250 per semester gift card from our bookstore to buy books. And this would be available whether or not you qualify for the FAFSA. So even, I didn't put the $250 on those prior screens, but you would be eligible for that gift card whether or not you qualify for the FAFSA or DREAM Act money. But again, this is only for students who graduated high school in 2023. So current graduates, your first year in college, and who are full-time, 12 units or more. So why attend Santa Ana College? I know there's a lot of other colleges out there. A lot of students have ideas of going into great universities. You've worked really hard getting good grades, taken maybe AP classes. You could get into some great universities, but there's some reasons to go to a community college beyond, well, they're right up here. Most college students change their major. A lot of times when you go to a university, you choose your major and you are accepted to that program, and you can't easily change your major. You have to apply and they can say yes or no in order to change your major. Community college, much more flexible to allow you to explore different majors. Santa Ana College is a great choice for going to school part-time if you're not able to go full-time. We've got over 1,000 classes in the evenings or weekends or online that you can do around your work schedule. So those are some reasons to go to community college. And here's the big one, is the cost. To go to a UC school, it's relatively affordable compared to most colleges in the country, but it's $15,000 plus per year for the tuition and fees. Cal State Fullerton, that's a bargain at about $7,000 per year in tuition and fees. But community colleges really can't be beat. They're the cheapest education option in the country. $75 in student fees, and that would be easily covered by your financial aid. So when do you check your financial aid status? Get your FAFSA in as soon as you can. By January, maybe February, we'll have information available on the school website where you can check to see what kind of financial aid you might be eligible for the next year. We will be communicating out to you soon after that if there's any documents you need to turn in. It's a fairly easy process to upload the documents to our system so that we can verify your eligibility and make sure that you get your money as soon as school starts so that you can start paying for books and things like that you'll need to do. I'm going to kind of, this is going to change a little bit. It's not going to look like this, but there's another important piece. Say you get awarded your financial aid. You're going to get your first financial aid disbursement of $3,000. How do I get it? Do we mail you a check? Do you have to come into our office? What happens? Well, we work with a company called Bank Mobile, and they disperse financial aid to you. I'm going to skip ahead here a little bit. No, I'm just gonna go back. Find to Bank Mobile, and they will disperse the money to you. You would have to go into our system to the Bank Mobile and tell them how you want the money. So we highly recommend direct deposit to a bank, to your own bank account. Bank Mobile has their own debit card that you could choose to. And so you could have, a debit card and use that to use your money, but having your own bank account, I think, is much more convenient. You have one card, you can use that bank account even after you're not a student anymore. So I know there's a credit union going to do a presentation after this that would, if you don't have a bank account, it would be a good idea to get something set up before you go to college, to have something ready to go to get that money put into your own bank account. Pretty simple process. We can help you, but the online instructions are pretty easy. So let me skip ahead a little bit here. One thing I do want to mention is staying eligible for financial aid. It's great you get your financial aid your first semester, your first year, but the government doesn't want to just keep giving you money if you're not going to graduate. And the way they hold you accountable is that we have to monitor your satisfactory academic progress. So you need to keep a 2.0 GPA in all your coursework, and you need to complete at least 67% of the coursework attended, which means don't drop a lot of your classes, don't get D's and F's, keep your grades up, complete your classes, and you'll stay eligible for financial aid throughout your academic career. It's really unfortunate that there's students often struggle their first year of college because it's a little different than high school. There's counseling, there's a lot of resources available to get help with your classes. So if you find yourself struggling, don't give up. Go find the help. Keep your satisfactory academic progress up so you can keep getting that financial aid so you can finish your degree. All right. So again, things to remember: apply before March 2nd, follow up during summer or even earlier. Choose your disbursement method, how you want to get your financial aid, and do well in your classes to remain eligible. So with that, I believe that was my last slide. Oh, I think we're holding questions till later. And I'm going to stop sharing and we can go on to the next part of our workshop.
Thank you so much, Robert. That was a lot of great information, so thank you for that. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat and we'll be reading them after Marlene's presentation. And with that, Marlene's, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon or good evening. My name is Marlena. Some of you already know me because I've been on presentations before. Mi nombre es Marlenis. Algunos de ustedes ya me conocen, pues ya he estado en presentaciones anteriormente. Hoy les voy a hablar un poquito sobre la parte de los padres y de, bueno, pues del estudiante con respecto a un momentito. ¿Lo pueden ver?
No, Marlene, todavía no.
¿No?
No. Si quieres, Jasmine también lo puede presentar.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Brenda.
You got it?
Yes.
Okay. So, en la parte de los padres, primeramente que nada, quiero un poquito con Robert estar de acuerdo que la educación en un colegio o en un junior college es algo que ayuda definitivamente a los estudiantes y a los padres. Yo tengo dos nenes que estuvieron, uno empezó directamente a una universidad y el otro por el junior college. Y con el junior college definitivamente que tuvo la oportunidad de explorar más y también tuve yo la oportunidad de ahorrar un poco más. I had two children and one decided to go straight up to a 4-year university. The other one decided to go through junior college. The one that went through the junior college route had the opportunity to explore more and definitely saved money. And we as parents try to do the best we can to, of course, be there for our children. And education is the best inheritance that we can actually leave for our children or provide our children. The credit union, basically, as you know, we do offer a lot of lending products with savings, CDs, money markets. You can start with very little, minimum $25. We also have CDs that you can open for starting with $2,000. Those CDs right now are earning definitely higher interest rates. There is one product besides what we offer, there is one product in a specific that I wanted to share with you. And if you can go one more page, Jasmine. And that is a Coverdell account. This is almost, if you look at it, like a retirement account, but not for retirement, but for your children or your grandchildren. This is an account that anyone can open. And there are certain limitations. Right now is for people that make less than $95,000 individually, or if you're a single parent, or a couple, I believe is 200 and change, 200,000 or something like that. But this money you can actually contribute to your child's account. It's a maximum of $2,000 per year is the contribution that you have. And that money is actually not taxed. So that means that it also gives you a break on your taxes while you're saving for, again, your child or your grandchildren. If you already have a child that is in a high school age or college bound this year, it may be a little late, but it's definitely something that is out there that a lot of people don't know about, or maybe they know, but it is really pretty simple. It's just like opening a regular account. It does have a little bit of different requirements that the money cannot be touched only by the beneficiary, which is the child. The good thing is that that can be used at any age. It can be used during high school, college, or even later on. If they don't use it all, they can then take it out by the time they get to be 30 years old. So I definitely suggest that you guys look into it. No sé si hay alguien que hable que no me entendió, pero este tipo de cuentas de Coverdell son muy importantes. Es algo que usted puede contribuir para sus hijos o sus nietos. Si empiezan de más joven, pues más fácil es. La máxima contribución es de $2,000 al año. Usted ni la persona ni el estudiante tendrán que pagar impuestos en ese dinero, puesto que tienen regulaciones, cosa de que no lo puede tocar si no es para un gasto escolar. Uno de los muchos beneficios es que la puede utilizar en cualquier nivel ya sea hasta en primaria, en la secundaria, y para gastos universitarios también. Additionally, of course, as a credit union, we offer the credit card, which is a really quick tool, easy access for almost anyone. If you need quick money for books, there is actually a lot of ways to get free books. You can rent them, but in those situations where you actually must buy a book, having a credit card could be a good thing to have in hand. Of course, like any credit card, you should know how to manage that, but we do offer those products as well. Jasmine, can you go to the next page? And then at last, I wanted to let you know about our credit union. For the members, we do have the opportunity to every year award, starting normally is four scholarships. There has been times when we can actually do 5, depending on the amount of applicants or the quality of the applications. Our minimum is 4 scholarships of $4,000 each. Again, depending on the amount, we can actually do 5 at 5 or 5 at 4. So there is many ways that we actually put money out there for our members. So if you're not a member yet, I suggest that you give us a try, because at the very least, in addition to the other products that I mentioned, you would have the opportunity to possibly have a scholarship that could be great help. Every little bit helps. And that's all I have for now.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Marlene, for that great information. We do have a question from Facebook. The person asks, if I'm approved for FAFSA, but the money does not come in when my classes start, can I keep my class while waiting for FAFSA, or will I have to pay out of pocket? I think that question, you can answer it, Robert.
Yes, so Santa Ana College has a policy that the student will be dropped within 3 days if they sign up for a class and a class isn't paid for. So it's really important to do the FAFSA early so that that fee waiver is ready to go before you sign up for your classes. But if you do find yourself in a position where you have to pay for the class or be dropped from the class, if you can pay for it, go ahead and pay for it. And when the FAFSA comes in, we can reimburse you.
Oh, okay. Cool. And thank you for that. We also have another question. This one's for you, Marlenis. Since your scholarship is only for members, do you have student accounts?
We don't have student accounts per se. They're not labeled student accounts, but anyone can actually open an account as soon as you're 16 years old. If you are younger than 16, you can open one up with the parent. So we call that the circus accounts, meaning for a younger audience. But they're not labeled as a student account, but yes, a person under the age of 18 is able to have a checking account with us. And also, so the student is not necessarily the one that needs to be the member. If your parent is a member, you could apply for the membership because it's a family membership. So just because you may not necessarily be the one with the account name, you can still apply through your parents.
Okay, awesome. And now we have some questions from Brenda and Jasmine. So Brenda, would you like to go first? Or Jasmine will go first.
Hi, sorry. So yeah, we do have a couple of questions from participants. And so here's one where they ask if financial aid is insufficient or if their circumstances change, how would they apply for more financial aid?
Well, if your circumstances change, it happens sometimes that because your family income might be a little bit higher from 2 years ago when the FAFSA asks for your income, and you're not eligible for very much financial aid, but now your income is significantly lower. We can do some special circumstances to try to increase the amount of financial aid. So you would come see the financial aid office if that is your situation, and we can help you through that. Santa Ana College also has a scholarships office, and I believe the scholarship application is open now. If you were to go to Santa Ana College website, if you know you're coming to Santa Ana College and go to their scholarships page, you could apply for scholarships. That would be on top of your financial aid. And we typically don't encourage students to take out student loans at the community college level. It's accumulate a lot of debt early in your academic career at a school that is free. But if you're not able to go to school without that additional money, then loans are available to you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Robert. All right, Brenda, you have a question as well.
Yes, I have a question from a parent. They asked if, what if they're, oh, give me 1 second. Do they have to file their taxes before completing the FAFSA application for their child?
Yes, if the parent's income is above the threshold required to file taxes, they must file taxes. But when doing the FAFSA, they're asking for the prior year. So for the students that are going to be starting next fall in 2023, it's going to ask for your tax information from the 2021 year, which should have already been filed by April, 6 months ago.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Robert. We have another question from Facebook, Marlenis. If I graduated a year ago from college, can I still sign up for the scholarship?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
If you can, whether you're studying a junior college or if you're in the transferring process if you already completed your courses in a junior college and you're transferring to a regular university, California State University, or any other, yes, you can. And I wanted to add a little piece based on experience that yes, the student actually is not able or shouldn't really be having the sole burden. And a lot of schools also put a little bit of the responsibility in the parents. So there is always a parent cost. So in those cases, that's where we would like to come in and not to discourage your student from continuing their application or the parent because they feel frustrated that they have these. It shouldn't be unexpected, but sometimes it is unexpected. So there is many other resources to be able to find or finance that portion that sometimes the parents are responsible, I should say, for. Or in a student that is older and they've been working also, they actually have that opportunity to find a low cost way to get money fairly quick. Sometimes you have exhausted all the scholarships and any other free money out there, and you still are short, and that's where we make ourselves available for that. I don't want to discourage anyone from going anywhere, whether they come to us or any other financial institution. There is many ways to make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. Money's out there, so it's all about going to look for it. Yeah, thank you, Marlenis. There's another question in the chat. Do part-time students receive similar financial aid, or does that change based on student status?
Yes, it does change. So a half-time student would receive approximately half of that financial aid that I shared earlier. So everybody's a little bit different, but in general, the more units you take, the more financial aid you'd be eligible for.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Robert. I believe Brenda and Jasmine have more questions, so go for it.
Okay, yeah, I have a question from a student. So if I win a scholarship, any scholarship, would that reduce my financial aid package?
Possibly. One of the things that we have to do in financial aid is determine the cost of attending school. So if you're a student living at home, we might say that the cost of going to school is $17,000 or $18,000 a year when you add in all those additional living costs like rent and food and transportation and things like that. And so that $17,000 would be the maximum amount of financial aid that the government would want to contribute to your school or to your schooling. So it's if you got a scholarship for $1,000, the federal government might say, okay, we're going to reduce our contribution by $1,000 to keep you at that maximum cost of education. So it can happen. It's pretty unusual, but it does happen from time to time.
So Robert, as a follow-up question, if a student receives scholarships, is that amount also part of the FAFSA application?
We consider scholarships to be from private organizations, which would not be through the FAFSA. You typically have to apply for those separately, either through the college scholarship office or through that individual scholarship entity like the credit union.
Yeah, but would that be reported in any of the financial applications, or would?
So yeah, the students are supposed to report that to us. And in fact, most of the time, those scholarship institutions will send the check to us so that we know about it. And then we would add that into that student's financial aid package.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you for that. And Jasmine, you have another question?
Yes, I do. And this one I do want to ask in both English and Spanish, just because a parent did ask about this. So I'll ask it in Spanish first and then in English. So un padre pregunta que si sucede mis circunstancias financieras cambian mientras mis hijos están en la escuela, todavía pueden aplicar para ayuda financiera. So in English, a parent is asking if their financial circumstances change, can their child apply at any moment for any type of financial aid?
It's best to apply early. If their financial situation goes down, gets worse, we can adjust the financial aid accordingly. If their financial information goes higher, we would just leave it alone. So it's always better to apply early, because we can always increase your aid and we would never reduce it.
Awesome,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Brenda, you have more questions?
Yes. So a student asked if, if they haven't chosen a college yet, university, community college, can they still apply like on the financial aid website? Or
Sorry, your question cut out a little bit, but
oh, sorry.
they weren't sure which school they're going to go to.
Yes,
Question?
yeah. So if they're not, if they're still undecided what school they're going to go to, are they still able to apply for financial aid through their website?
Yes,
Okay.
on the FAFSA and DREAM Act both, you can put, I believe, up to 10 different schools on there, and all 10 schools will get your FAFSA or DREAM Act information. So that might be, it's a good way, if you haven't decided, to throw that out there to all the schools and see what kind of financial aid package the different schools might be offering.
And another follow-up, is that also including like out of state? Because they hear that sometimes, when they apply out of state, it might be more money to like living expenses or just costs in general.
Sure, yeah, that includes out of state. You can list out of state schools, and out of state is going to be more expensive. Just because California schools are such a good deal. So yeah, it would include those.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome, and we have another question from Facebook. I love the fact that there's a lot of questions coming in, so keep sending them. Thank you, everyone. If I make a mistake on my financial aid form, is there a way to change it?
Yes, you can make a correction. You have to wait a day for the federal government to process the original FAFSA, and then they'll open it up and allow you to make a correction on it. I recommend, though, that you just be as careful as you can, and even get help if you need to do it correctly the first time, because every time you make a change to it, it's more likely that that the federal government will select you for verification, which just is going to cause more work for you later. But yes, if you do actually make a mistake, you can make a correction.
Okay, awesome. And I had a question too, because I know you brought up the Santa Ana Promise. So on the slide, it said that it's for students straight out of high school, but what if a student maybe had started college or they're just not straight out of high school? Are they still able to apply for that promise, or is it very, very in particular that it has to be right after high school?
It has to be right after high school, and it's automatic. By doing the FAFSA DREAM Act, you don't have to apply for it separately.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Another question just came in, Marlenis, this is for you. Does Eagle offer free checking accounts, or is there a fee like other banks?
No, all of our accounts are free. Checking, savings. There is a required minimum deposit on all of them, and it's only $25, but there are no maintenance fees.
Oh, okay, awesome.
I'd like to add a little bit on the piece of the question that came before regarding going to college out of state. Yes, the first year may be expensive, but you may want to consider staying there at an apartment or finding a roommate at whatever state you do decide, because almost every state in the union, after you reside there for a year and you can prove that you have lived there for a year, including the school year, you can actually become a resident of that state. Therefore, the second, third, or fourth year, or the senior year, whenever you are transferring, or if you're studying as a freshman, the junior, the sophomore, or the senior year, you will be paying that state's tuition that sometimes is actually less expensive than California.
Yeah, thank you. And I think Brenda has another question.
Yes, this is for Marlene. For Marlene, it's actually a two-part question. So one, so it's they mentioned that you said on the slide that you have to apply for the scholarship by February 1st. By when will you announce like the winners, or like how will you announce the winners? Like,
So we actually announced them by late May or early June. So the scholarship would actually be starting for the fall year. So if you apply, let's say this February coming up, the scholarship will be awarded anywhere between the end of May to early June, and you would have it funded for you or ready for you to use for that next semester.
okay, awesome. And then also just another follow-up on that. Is this scholarship, is it eligible for DACA recipients, or just for US, like, students?
Thank you for actually reminding me. Yes, that application is for anyone.
Yeah,
And
awesome.
specifically for those DACA students, don't forget that we would lend to you, your parent, or whoever, without the requirement of having their Social Security. We do ITIN lending, which is something that not too many financial institutions actually do. You, with us, we could lend with ITIN and actually your matricula ID. So again, when there is a will, there is a way, as they say.
Yes, definitely.
So we are there for you on that regard.
Okay, and you said you're going to be announcing 4 winners for $4,000 each?
So we commit to 4 winners for 4,000 years. I mean, for $4,000. Sometimes, depending on the quality, sometimes it's hard to say no. We actually can increase it to having 5 scholarships for 4,000.
Wow.
Or the other way, it could be 4 scholarships of 5,000. So it all depends on how many applicants and the resources available. But we, at minimum, will issue 4 scholarships of $4,000 each.
Wow, that's
And
great.
that's
So
our
everybody
minimum.
apply. Everybody
That's our
listening
minimum.
apply.
Yes.
That's great. Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. And Jasmine has another question as well.
Yes, this is also for Marlenice. Really quick on the when students do have to write their essay, do you guys pick a topic, or is it just, send us an essay of what you're passionate about?
It's an essay about your past, your future, your present, about you. So it's being creative.
That's awesome. And Marlenis, if any students here want to apply, should we just redirect them to your website, or is there maybe a package that we can print out and also have it available for them?
It's really easy. You can go to the website, or you can actually reach out to me directly. I can take an application over the phone, or they can complete it online. There is a comments or a code. On the code, they can just do Eagle and then my name, and I will know exactly what the where the application came from. So, or just call me. You guys all have my contact information, so I'm here for you guys.
Awesome. Thank you both so much for this awesome information. I'm actually getting motivated to go back to school and apply for financial aid now. Maybe I'll even apply for that scholarship.
There you go. Why not?
Yeah, thank you both so much for taking the time to talk to our families about financial aid. I know a lot of the families have been mentioning, just that burden, especially coming out of the pandemic. How are they going to finance their students' higher education? So thank you for that awesome information. And Brenda, do you have another comment or question?
Yeah, one more question, or at least this other question that I just got right now. So a student said that they hear that that there's moments where, they've heard that there's moments where students have to repay the financial aid if they drop a class or they didn't do well. Is that true? Is that true or false, Robert?
That can be true, yes. If you get financial aid for taking full time, and then after receiving the money you drop to part time, you may have to pay some of that money back. So make sure to talk to the financial aid office before you drop any classes, and they can advise you on minimizing that.
Okay. So definitely recommend, like you said, talking to the financial advisor or your counselor before any decision making of dropping classes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Awesome. And I know there's another question too. How is financial aid affected if I apply for an early decision or early action program?
Early decision, you mean taking classes in high school? What do you mean by early decision?
Yeah, I think this question is like, you know how certain colleges you can apply, they have the early decision or early action, early notices. So do you know
Oh, I
if
see.
they would be affected at all by that?
So I can answer the question as far as community colleges. No, they would not affect that at all.
Okay.
If you're talking about, like a university that's offering their own aid package with their own set of scholarships, institutional scholarships and things like that, you'd have to check with them. That can get complicated with, them giving their institutional financial aid on top of the federal aid and how they balance that.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you for that answer. All righty. Does anyone have any more questions before we close out for tonight? Jasmine, awesome.
Yeah, so if a parent has more than one child going to college at the same time, does that affect each one of their kids' financial aid? Because they have to put their parents' tax information.
That is a great question. That is going to be changing. So in the 2023 year, the upcoming year, if they have two students in college at the same time, two children in college at the same time, those children will get more financial aid because the government sees that that could be more of a financial struggle for that family having two kids in college at the same time. But the next year, they're getting rid of that rule, and there would not be any kind of additional help for having two children in school at the same time.
Thank you.
All right, and I know Brenda has more questions coming in.
Yeah, this is for Marlene. So Marlene, they're all interested in the scholarship that you guys have to offer. Is this the only scholarship that you have available from Eagle Credit Union, or do you have more, or throughout the year, or any for, just special
We
occasions?
haven't had the need or the opportunity to offer more scholarships. They do it once a year, and it's usually for the fall semester. But this is something that I will actually bring up to the CEO and the board members. For now, they only have the once a year awards that utilize for, you could actually even have it for summer school or start it in the fall. So
Okay.
we actually award them by June at the latest, and then the recipient decides best way to apply it. And by the way, we do actually hand you the check to yourself.
Oh, wow.
We do not send it to the school of choice. We hand it to you. We hope that you give us a word that you're going to utilize it for school, and that should be the ultimate goal. But we do send it to the actually we ask the students to come over, and we do a kind of presentation and award it at our corporate office to each winner.
Oh, that's great. So they hold the big check, right?
Yes.
Oh, great. That's awesome. So they hold a big check of the $4,000 or
For
so.
photo opportunity and all that stuff.
That's great. Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you.
That's awesome. And Marlene's also a follow-up question to that. So for the scholarship, you said that you'll trust whatever the students buy and all of that. Do you request any receipts or any proof at any point? I know some scholarships do that.
Well, we do. You will have to enter that in the application. The college or the junior college that you have selected. It's not completely, all not questions asked. There are certain requirements that you have to meet in the application. But as far as what you do or how you utilize those funds, we do not question you, because there is sometimes actually a personal expense if you're transferring to a university and you're not living at home. There is an additional expense. So we want to give you the gift of, the financial aid or help towards something positive in that college experience. And $4,000 or $5,000 may not be a lot, but it does help. I mean, sometimes, you know, even for food, you know, some parents may not have the ability to help a student if they're not living at home, or it may be tight for everyone. So every little bit helps.
Yeah, I totally agree. Everything helps. That's why I tell students, even if it's a $200, $300 scholarship, honestly, all of it together, it really does make
Apply. Yes.
Yes. I know Jasmine has another question.
Yes, I was wondering if a parent decides to fill out the FAFSA form for their child, but they don't have their child's ID number. Is there a way around that, or would they need that ID number?
Well, ideally, the child and the parent fill out the FAFSA together. As far as, because you would need access to both of their email addresses, social security numbers, birth dates, things like that. You wouldn't need a school ID or anything. It's all just personal demographic information and emails. But you're also going to be setting up logins and passwords. And if just the student has that information and not the parent, or just the parent has that information, not the student, it can cause confusion later.
Okay, awesome. And Robert, I have another question. I know some students, they like to, or they choose to take some classes over the summer. So when they apply for the FAFSA for that school year, does that include summer classes, or would they have to submit something else to receive financial aid for that?
It does include summer, yes.
Okay.
Sometimes it depends on how many, you know, if the students already received their maximum financial aid for the year, if they are eligible for any more for summer. But we're the ones that figure all that out. You just do the FAFSA for the year, and we'll figure it out for you.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you all for the presentations, and thank you everyone for submitting your questions. If anyone needs any support one-on-one for filling out their FAFSA, we will be having a FAFSA workshop on November 29th. And we have the flyer here. So if you would like to register, you can just text FAFSA to the number on the screen. And the flyer is already on our social media. So in case anyone needs to see it again, if you want to share it, if you know of any other students that need to apply for their FAFSA, or you know any parents that they would like some support with their students, this is a great opportunity. Our staff will be doing it at Latino Health Access at our main building. And also the next Platicando con Promotores will not be next Thursday, because next Thursday we will all be eating some turkey, yams, and pumpkin pie. So we will be doing our next Platicando con Promotores in 2 weeks on, two Thursdays. Oh my gosh, I can't speak anymore. It's the end of the day. And the topic will be on Alzheimer's and dementia. So we hope you can all join us for that presentation as well. With that being said, thank you so much, my ladies. Thank you so much, Robert, for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me again.
Thank you. We always welcome you to come back and do presentations for our families. So thank you so much. And
You're very welcome.
happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.